Welcome to Module 3 of Theology 4010, Death and Dying. In the first two modules of this course, basically getting us through the first half of the course, we've considered the basic experience of being a human being, what it means to be a human person, the kinds of things that go into that. And then we moved on to considering the particularity of the experience of suffering as a human being. Now in Module 3, we move in a very focused manner into the experience of death. And as a way of introducing that, the first reading that I'm going to have you do for this module, for this first unit of the module, is the story of the death of Jesus Christ. It's a story filled with all of the human complexity of what goes into human relationships. There is fear and betrayal and anxiety and uncertainty, pain and suffering, and what often accompanies a human person as he or she approaches death. Of course, in the story of Jesus, though, the suffering and death of Jesus, there is also a sense of triumph at the end of it, that in the Christian narrative, Jesus does not just stay in death, but moves on to something beyond death, what we call resurrection, which is something that we'll consider in the last module of this course. But for now, I think it's important for us to sit for a little while in this experience of absolute death, and so that the readings that we'll do across these next 4 units will be a consideration of that. You might also want to know, and I should be a little explicit here, how I've structured this course, that each of the 4 modules of this course has been introduced by a reading from either the Hebrew Scriptures or the Christian Scriptures, the Old Testament or the New Testament. And that we saw first in the first module in the reading from the book of Genesis, the second module, the reading from the book of Job, now in the reading from the Gospel according to John, a way that the Christian and the Jewish traditions have framed these questions of life, death, and dying in a way that refers them not just to the experience, the personal individual experience of these things, but in a way frames them in accord with what goes on in a communal experience of those things, as well as how individuals and communities see that in light of their experience of God, of the divine. Of course, it's very important in a course like this that's housed in a theology department in a Catholic university to understand that suffering, death, and dying is to be understood in human terms, but also understood in divine terms. So it's some of those things that will be the focus of our consideration for this Module 3 in our Death and Dying course.